Aziza, please unmute yourself and then the speakers as well, or later when it's your turn. Thank you. So we will go live. Hello and welcome to the Asian Tourism Investment Summit. Just to remind you, the recording of this webinar and biography and the PowerPoint of all the speakers will be available from tomorrow on our website. Without further ado, I will give to our wonderful chairwoman, Dr. Aziza Jalaluddin. Thank you so much for all your help and for helping us to organize this, please. The word is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Reza and the Institute of Tourism. It's an amazing start for all of us here. I'm Dr. Aziza Jalaluddin, founder of Go Global. We are a Go Global accelerator and an impact investment platform for the conscious tourism ecosystem. So that is a lot of stuff, but we'll show you how this works, because today's session is going to be something that everybody will be opening up new horizons, new thoughts, and new way of looking at life when it comes to travel and tourism. And who is ready for that? Who's ready for that? So we love to see you online, and this is going to be an interactive session. There's going to be a lot of various activities that will be engaging you with. I want to thank each and every one of you joining hands today in this Zoom call. In the Zoom, we have our eminent dignitaries who have come in to speak in the event, and we also have people watching live from the various social media, including Instagram, YouTube, Facebook channel, etc. So once again, thank you so much. This is the Asian Tourism Investment Summit, and we are talking about sustainability, innovation, and conscious capitalism. I'd love to know in the chat group, how many of you are working in the industry as a business or as an individual who is like an employee or a professional? Okay, how about that? Business or professional in the industry? Maybe you can put into the chat group. Are you a business or a professional? So let's make this as engaging as possible. So I just want to give a heads up on how we are going to be running this session today and give you an overview. And just before that, a quick rundown of who is Go Global, and or rather, what are we doing with this program at this session today? So a quick check-in. So make the interaction happen for everyone. All right, so this is the summit that we are very excited to present together with the Institute of Tourism. Once again, thank you so much for making it happen. So this is a bit of background about Go Global. We are an impact investment platform. We transform the way that people do business, travel, and impact lives globally through conscious capitalism. And we're definitely going to be delving into the various aspects of the industry with our 30+ experience in the industry, serving with passion. This is one of our most beloved mentors who runs the Accelerated Business School, the epitome on the work of consciousness. So if you do not know this woman or the work that she's doing, please take a screenshot, go to moneyandyou.com. You'll get to see more about it. So our journey has been from the people development space, in the consciousness space back in 2002. Right now, I'm actually the founder and major shareholder of this Shine group of companies, Shine Go Global group of companies from Singapore, with our partners and associates and shareholders across the region. We're talking about Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, India, and various others as indicated here. So we are also very innovative in the way that we approach the people development industry, impacting more than countries around the region, including professors, as well as sharing stages with many of these Stanford professors and founder institutes, so on and so forth in the Silicon Valley. And this is Go Global's work. We are dedicated to global peace through global business. Who likes that? Who likes that? Who likes global peace? I want you all to say yes for global peace, right? And we see this as a visionary plan where global business is possible in the travel, tourism, hospitality industry. And we work a lot with the tourism boards, the associations and business chambers, as well as various training, coaching, mentoring schools and platforms. And that being said, we have evolved from a consulting company with a portfolio of growing portfolio of companies with us. We are right now in the space of acquisition, and a collaborative IPO is on the table for us, as well as development, tourism development projects in various countries, including Sabah, including India, Kanyakumari, and definitely in other places. So now let's come to you. What's your reality? I would like to ask you. What's your reality? I would like to know which of these phones you are aware of. Okay, so sorry if you're gonna give away your age, but let's have some fun here. Who knows this phone? The one that with the ring and heavy headset. I don't think anyone here is aware of that, right? And how about the dial-in one? Who's familiar with that one? Right? And then we have the press button. Okay? And then we have the cordless. And then now we have the mobile phone. So I would love to ask you, if you were born in this age or in this age, would this be your reality at that time? I want you to think about that. I love to stop right here and look at some faces here. Would you have enjoyed that, right? If you want to ask yourself, is your reality restricted based on what you know, or do you know there is a reality that you don't know exists? Right? If today I tell you the mobile phone, very soon the mobile phone will be like, hello, Dr. Rosmawati, how are you? And is that a Chanel perfume you're wearing? Smells really good. Do you think that's possible?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. So, this is something that is growing out of the norm. The world is shifting to a whole different perspective. And I want to ask you, what reality are you in? Because today, your reality is going to expand. Who's ready for that? Who's ready for expanded reality? And we're going to take you on the route that is not something new, innovative, not just new and innovative, but something that's really happening. It's just that you don't know it exists. So we're going to show you some realities that we are living with. And welcome again to the Asian Tourism Investment Summit. Today's objective is very much focused on identifying investment potential and gaps of the industry. We want to take you through the parameters of businesses in the industry on becoming investable and bankable. We're going to open you up to new lingo. Today, I had a conversation with this guy. He said, conscious. Why this word conscious? Why is it being said so many times? And it's like, what is it really? And maybe you want to ask this question. Did you know that the word conscious is in my vocabulary has been around for more than 20 over years? And it's not just me, but a whole community of more than 200,000 people in this accelerated business school. That's our reality. So we're going to talk into many different lingos. We're going to talk into different ways of, realities, different things that may not be in your current space. So finally, we want to propose solutions through sustainability, through innovation, and through conscious capitalism that we can powerfully generate a collaborative community to thrive together. So this is our objective for today. Who's excited about that? Right? You want to say yes? You want to say I? It's going to be really fun. So I just want to give a context to the two words, the consciousness and the work around it. So we all know we have moved on from the age of agrarian, which is physical labor, to industrial age, to information age. For those of us who do not know, we are already in the consciousness age. I want to give you a little bit depth into that, which is the industrial age and the information age was about growth and change. And if in business and in life, if you are doing a business that does not transform, does not cause an evolution in humanity, you are going to be left behind. That is the truth. So the consciousness age is all of this. And we're going to speak into that today for the tourism industry that's so close to our heart. So with that, I just want to give you a heads up that the word conscious capitalism was a framework created with the support of, my late husband. We came up with this context where we really launched this conversation, not only in the world's spiritual parliaments with the Stanford lead professors and with a founder institute in the Silicon Valley. We've shared stages with all these dignitaries to share this context from Asia. So leading it from Asia, we want to present to you the conscious capitalism framework, which actually you want to take a screenshot of these conversations because it's very important. Many people think consciousness is about social work. It's about nonprofit. I want to show you a truth, a reality that can become exponentially possible for humanity when we bring in conscious capitalism into to the industry of travel, tourism, hospitality, because we're talking about social equanimity and the work of the market mechanism that everybody's running day to day to the capital market, which many people fear coming together, and we play here. All right. So I want to show you the framework, and you can take another screenshot of this. This is what we advocate. Today, you are going to see a demonstration of the various aspects of conscious tourism framework, ranging from the conscious living, conscious leadership, conscious profits, and conscious capitalism. Every speaker today, I know because I know many of them personally as well, are operating from the highest level of consciousness for themselves, for the nation, for humanity. So who's ready? I'm so glad and honored and inspired to welcome the first speaker for today, Professor Noex, who has been in the travel and tourism industry for the last 40 years in a long-term advocate for sustainable tourism practices across Asia Pacific region. And he's also the founder of the Pacific Asia Tourism and International Project Management Company. So he has a whole profile. If you have not read his profile, we're going to put his profile into the link in the group. You can read it and get inspired furthermore. And we are honored to welcome him and make him share with us, let him share with us his take on his process of understanding conscious capitalism as well as tourism in this space. Welcome, Professor.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Can you just checking the audio? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Thank you for the invitation. I'm going to speak in the Australian version of the English language, so Aussie English, which is sometimes very broad and difficult to understand, but hopefully you'll be able to comprehend my version of the English language. Look, I'm a bit surprised that I'm the first person to speak tonight because I'm probably the least qualified to talk on this topic. It's not one that I'm very familiar with, quite frankly, conscious capitalism, but since I was invited to speak, I did some homework, and I've learned that the underlying principles of conscious capitalism are something that I do, in our various business activities, and so I'll share some of those thoughts with you in my presentation tonight, and give some examples from as an operator, first of all. So in Australia, I chair a company called Binnaburra Lodge. It's a business that's been going for about over 90 years. It's one of Australia's oldest sustainable tourism or eco-lodge businesses. And since the 1930s, the business has been at the leading edge of what we now term sustainable tourism. And as I look at the underlying principles of conscious capitalism, I can see it's very much what we do with this business also. Unfortunately, 5 years ago, at the beginning of what became 6 months of the Black Summer bushfires in Australia, our lodge was destroyed in the wildfires. And so we've been on a recovery path since then. And we're almost getting about 1 more year and we'll be fully recovered from that devastation of the wildfires. But as we have rebuilt the business, the principles which are consistent with the concepts of conscious capitalism are still very evident within this particular enterprise. Time doesn't permit me tonight to go into too much detail, but if it's of interest to you, it's a very simple Google search with Binnaburra Lodge Australia, and you'll see the nature of that business, which is located on private land inside a World Heritage listed national park in Australia, which is quite a unique piece of real estate. My major focus tonight, contribution, will be more about where this idea of conscious capitalism can apply with projects in Asia, and Asia being a very broad part of the planet, from Middle East right across to East Asia, and the work of many international development agencies to try and use tourism as a form of economic development and all those other good things to try and achieve as many of the sustainable development goals as possible. And there's since the Second World War, in the last 70 odd years, there's been various waves of multilateral and bilateral agencies that have been using tourism development to help them achieve their agendas, and they've been largely applied to emerging economies, low income parts of the world, and they've been bringing in ideas and resources from, let's call it, the rich north economies of the planet into those what is described in a lot of the literature as the poor south. This is becoming old language now, but certainly was evident for 40, 50 years, and is changing very much in the last 20 years because of the big shifts in economic power bases around the planet. But a lot of the tourism development, if we look over 70 odd years in the emerging and developing economies, has been very much from a Western mindset, and almost a form of neo-colonialism in many areas. And so I've just been thinking about, where does this concept of conscious capitalism fit within the resources that are applied from those sources over time. And what I've seen is a reflection in the tourism development to some extent across Asia, which was characteristic of colonial times and of agencies resourcing and developing, for many reasons, large-scale tourism infrastructure projects in different parts of the world. I think that's changing, and I'll discuss why I think that's changing as we go through now. We're definitely seeing, most of my work in the last 30, 40 years has been in Asia Pacific, and we're certainly seeing this decentering of tourism development and movement from the West to the East. And we saw that with the movements, with the boom in the Chinese outbound market in the last 20 years. And we're seeing it with the enormous growth that's occurring with the Indian market and other markets. COVID, of course, has put a little bit of a hiccup in that process. And there are various geopolitical tensions around the world. There always are geopolitical tensions around the world, and somehow a resilient tourism industry tends to bounce out of it. But we're seeing the emergence of resources and talent within Asia to do Asian tourism development the way that the Asians want it to do it, rather than a more industrialized economy, Western type thinking going into the way things are done. An example is a project that I've been involved with for 6 years. We're just coming to the end of a very large 6-year project supported by the World Bank. It's $1 billion, and that's a big deal for a tourism development project anywhere in the history of the world. And it included $300 million loan from the World Bank and some bilateral funding support from Australia and Switzerland. And this is an example of a major multilateral donor-supported project where some of those core principles of conscious capitalism, particularly in terms of safeguards to environments, social and cultural values, are a really important part of the governance of a major infrastructure project. So for those of you familiar with World Bank projects will know the environmental social framework is a very important part of World Bank projects or the World Bank group. And the challenges always in big projects like the one I'm involved with is how you bring these very well-intentioned environmental and social framework tools into remote locations where you've got scarcity of skills, capacities, access, infrastructure, training, and so on it goes. But it doesn't mean you don't always try and achieve the gold standard, but it's very, very challenging to do that at a consistent level with many projects. And they need to be done because we have plenty of examples around the world, especially across the Asia region, where the impacts of tourism, the good, the bad, and the ugly can be seen quite easily with a very simple Google images search about the bad and ugly impacts of tourism on places and on people. I'm seeing also part of the big change, I'm talking about the 20, 40 year type change that's occurring in Asia, especially in building the necessary infrastructure that's required for future tourism growth, is the emergence of new players in the international development partnership business. And the big ones are the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, which increasingly is looking at tourism-related infrastructure. And we're talking about water, sanitation, waste management, roads, bridges, ports, electricity, internet connectivity, all that really important infrastructure that's required if you're going to have a successful tourism destination and businesses. And while China is the major shareholder of the Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank and it's based in Beijing, there are well over 100 other members also. But when it comes to the power blocks, after China is India and Russia in that process. But there's also China Aid as a bilateral partner. And there's also the Russians coming on the scene, especially here in Southeast Asia. Well, not just in Southeast Asia, and South Asia too, because say, for example, take Indonesia. If you go to Bali now, Australians are still the #1 international visitor source to Bali, but #2 is Russia. And so there are a limited number of destinations in the tropical parts of the world that Russians can go to. And so there's potentially there's going to be increased Russian interest and investment. But the big money will probably come from the Chinese and through the Asia as a bilateral partner and a multilateral through the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. And the question will be then, to what extent will they walk the talk? Because they all have wonderful policies and statements relating to environmental and social safeguards. But what's the commitment? It's hard enough now for the World Bank Group type agencies and the Asian Development Bank to make it happen on the ground. To what extent will these new players have to ensure that there are adequate environmental and social safeguards put into multi-million-dollar projects which will roll out over the next number of decades in this part of the world? And I think this idea of conscious capitalism is something that would be really good to do some further introduction on the concepts, not only to these new emerging multilateral, bilateral players, but some of the existing ones also. And it might lead to some better outcomes for Asia looking in the next 50 odd years. That's my very small contribution tonight, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And you are too humble, Professor, because we know that you have put together some very exciting overview. That's why you are the first speaker, because we want to give people a context. We say we feed you with the information little at a time, and we can climax with really real stuff, where you have showed us the big picture. And over the next couple of sessions, we're going to bring in people who are living the conscious capitalism conversations, and we're going to see that. And that's why we say we're going to be proposing solutions that we all can come together and contribute it. So thank you for setting the pace, and it's just the right pace for us to take on. Thank you so much for that. Now, we also want to bring in the next speaker, and the next speaker, Dr. Haja Rasmawati. I'm just clicking the enter button because she's got a whole accolades behind her, which is just wonderful to know that she's the CEO of the Sabah International Convention Center, which is East Malaysia, Borneo. And this amazing woman, she's going to be sharing with us the entrepreneurial journey she's taken on, even as holding the government positions, right? Her entrepreneurial journey has taken it on to the mice industry and how she is working towards the upliftment. And I would love her to share with, to give a context to the success story of this ecosystem. Welcome, Dato.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Aziza, and good evening to everyone. Actually, I'm delighted that to meet accidentally with Dr. Aziza in one of the conference in our convention center. But we spend time together to talk about how to move forward, how to collaborate, and how to synergize the energy of moving towards this mice industry. So basically, I would like to tell about our background. I mean, before I go to what Doctor was saying just now, Yayasan Sabah, where I work, was established in 1966, actually. And one intention is to educate people of Sabah, especially the rural people, the poverty, in order to uplift their living. So I joined Yayasan Sabah in 1984. So you all know my age. I'm just celebrate my 26th birthday recently. So I'm looking for partner, 26 years old. So actually, when I start with business event, I started with Yayasan Sabah as the management of the holding company. Then in 2005, where in the state of Sabah, nobody knows about this mice tourism, or now we call business event in our place here. I started to introduce because we are more involved in timber, oil palm. So when I go all over the conference I attended internationally, I feel that this is one of the things that Sabah should go in, because we are very well known for leisure. We are very rich in biodiversity. We are rich in culture. We have the mountain high, the highest mountain in Southeast Asia. We have the ocean deep, Sipadan Island, among the 10 nicest diving center, and we have all those flora and fauna. So in 2005, when I did the first conference, nobody believed about it, but apparently it started to open way. After the conference, the investors started coming into Sabah because they see the potential of Sabah to be where they to invest in this part of the world. Then the next thing come what Dr. Aziza was saying, when we do twice of the event, I was asked to do every 2 years, because the impact of the economy to the state at the time was very, very huge, where investors come in and we have high end of tourists coming in. But there is a missing point, actually, the place to meet, the convention center. So in 2006, I mooted the idea to have a convention center, and very long story until I got it approved 2010. Then I was asked to source for the fund. After sourcing the fund, I became the project director. So actually, I started from scratch, from zero, no convention center, until now we have the convention center where Dr. Aziza went. And the most important thing that I want to share to this network, this prestigious panelists of tonight, is that I want to showcase the potential of Sabah in the east of Malaysia. Actually, when I asked for the fund to get approved funding from Federal for the Convention Center, I use our region, that is BIMYAGA, where we call it East ASEAN, the economic growth, where it's just 20 minutes. We are 29 minutes to Brunei, actually, another country. And from the new capital city of Indonesia, Nusantara, if we are located, connected through maybe less than 2 hours, and now we are direct to Jakarta, 2 hours, Singapore 2 hours, and Philippines also 2 hours, and we have the neighbor island. So we're talking about new growth, where we're going to give 78.9 population to be part of, to share, to explain if anyone from this forum have interest to expand the business. And we are all here is talking about sustainability. I mean, like our organization, Yasin Sabah, we have been talking about conservation as early as 1984, to the extent Royal Society of the Kingdom has been a partner for 40 years. In one of the conservation area, we call it Danau Valley, where in fact I can invite you all to go, is first-class virgin jungle, more than 100 years, but we have a 5-star resort inside. And that's where the climate change being, biodiversity being studied. And we have what we call Imbak Malwa Basin. We have a lot of conservation, and another one is Imbak Canyon, where we have thousands of herbs inside. That's why we partner with one of the national GLC. So the potential of Sabah to where you can open up or expand new business is huge, because I know that not many of you know our existence in the world, because we are actually not in the central government way, Kuala Lumpur, where the other states. We are more on the east, on the island of Borneo. But I feel that we have much more to offer, because we have the God-gift nature, and we have been conserving it. And we have been working with international like Danida, Dansat, IKEA, to talk about how we conserve, and to, I mean, some of it is about replanting, a lot of conservation efforts being done. So what I discussed with Dr. Aziza, we like to showcase, to come to Sabah, where you can have a living laboratory to see what God has created, especially in Danau Valley. I mean, you can see as small as moth to the biggest animal, that is the orangutan. I don't know whether you know orangutan. So this is actually a way of introduction of what our state can offer, especially in terms of our topics today, capitalism, tourism, because this is where we can really put the 3P. When we talk about the planet, we have to take care. The people have to nurture. At the same time, we have to garner profit from what we are doing. So this exercise or this initiative, this what we have been doing in Sabah, has been ongoing for the past more than 40 years. And it's about time that we showcase to the world. Here we are, you know, giving the world the oxygen, giving the world the breath, the new breath. But here, because you see the conservation area, we call it Heart of Borneo, where I think in terms of size, we can say it's 10 times the size of Singapore Island. It's where we conserve in the heart of Borneo, and it's accessible. Anyone can go in. I mean, even at one time, the chairman of Mercedes-Benz, he drove his Mercedes-Benz to go to the Danau Valley. That's how accessible it is. So we have a 5-star resort, and when you are inside there, you can really feel how God created the world, because it's really untouched, where we have the tallest tropical living tree inside that forest, first-class virgin jungle. So I'm here to share, I mean, there's so much to share, but the most important thing that I want to say here is that we're here to network, we're here to collaborate, we are here to synergize, we're here to leverage on each other's strength. and I did inform Dr. Aziza, we are going to do our second edition of business event in Sabah. And for the second one next year, it will be more international because we're bringing in the best speaker that talk about, but it's not only about mice. We're also going to talk about sustainability and conservation. I think I did pass to Dr. Aziza. Can you show the, okay, this is the, we call it, this is in Malaysia, we follow the ICA. When they transform the mice into business event, then we use it. When we say business event, it's actually mice forum. And we're talking about empowering Asia Pacific through business event because we are part of Asia Pacific and we're using the East ASEAN country to build the business event because we have this regional very near to us that we have the same strength and culture. Actually, I want to share the speaker. Can we go next? So we have approached actually all the speakers and we have some confirmation and some is just waiting for the detail of the talks that they're going to give. So I hope I will share the information as soon as I get all final with Dr. Aziza, and maybe she can help me to share with all the panelists tonight. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. We also have a write-up. Maybe we can send them the link so that they can also look at it, and maybe we can put it into the chat box. Thank you so much, Dato, for sharing with us your passion. And, you know, the more we speak to you, the more information we get about you. And we really look forward to a synergy in the region among all the players who are sitting in this room, like all the amazing players of the industry should be coming together in making this happen. So thank you once again. So we also like to welcome the next speaker as we speak into understanding that these are happening in the world of sustainability conversation. How she talked about, first our professor talked about the banks, the organizations that can fund us. And just now, if you heard what Dr. was sharing, did you get where the money comes from? There's like a test. Is that you're supposed to run a seminar and just speak and go. Why are you asking me questions? She talks about GLCs, government-linked companies that really nurture the growth of tourism. So that's the second one for you. So you're going to hear more of various ways of investments coming into the space, and you're going to be awed at how your business or your company and your organization can thrive through these kind of investments as well. So next we have with us, and I love to see the presentation that was shared earlier on, Mr. Ross Woods, and he talks about into sustainable tourism, and you're going to get a perspective to that as well. So I'm just quickly going to go into his profile. Mr. Ross, actually, again, another veteran in the industry. He's a hotel investment advisor. His profile is being shared with more than 30 years of global experience in the hotel investment strategies and asset management, hotel transactions and due diligence in the whole work around it. He's currently based from Jakarta. So look forward to hearing your wisdom, Mr. Ross. Ross Woods, the mic is yours.
Thank you very much. At the outset, I'd like to congratulate the Institute for hosting this summit. I think it's timely, and clearly sustainability and the growth of tourism in Asia is really just on the cusp of enormous things. And while I don't have the statistics at hand, I do know that the investment in tourism infrastructure, that's both the public-private sector infrastructure here in the Greater Asia region, will be the highest in the world, much more than it is in North America or even in Europe. But what I'd like to do is bring up some slides, if I can just grab some slides here. Share some slides with you. Okay. So you can see, okay, the first, just an overview. I've spent my career, the best part of 40 years. I think that my CV was coming up a little short in terms of the years I've spent in the marketplace, but I actually give away my age by stating that I first went to Bali and lived in Bali in 1972. I was a university student in Australia, and I lived in Kuta Beach in Bali in 1972 for about 3 months. So that gives away my age, but it just gives you some idea that I have seen certain parts of Asia grow dramatically over that time. But I spent many years in the hospitality industry, initially in Australia, looking at the growth of tourism, and I worked for the Queensland Tourist and Travel Corporation and as a research and development director. And in that role, we were attempting to develop tourism in Queensland, one of the states of Australia. And in those days, back in the 70s, of course, the Great Barrier Reef was the major attraction in Queensland, but there was little infrastructure. So we commissioned, in fact, the Boeing Corporation to come to Australia, and they laid out a plan for the growth of tourism. And during the course of that exercise, I discovered that most institutional investors, whether they be pension funds or superannuation funds, or even private institutional investors, were very reluctant to invest in tourism. Tourism was so new, and clearly they thought that hotels and resorts were risky. And I used to say, I remember attempting to raise capital for and on behalf of developers. How do you measure risk in relation to tourism? And very few people, very few institutional investors could give you any substantive answer in relation to risk analysis. And so it was because of that I started on a road, and I've spent 40 years. I've written a number of chapters in textbooks in relation to risk simulation modeling, and I want to get into that a little bit in my presentation. But let's look at investment. I think it's important to go back to tours and look at the concept of investment, whether it be public funds or private funds. Investing is defined as the present sacrifice for expected future benefits. Now, those future benefits can come in all sorts of ways. Clearly there could be tax benefits. There's obviously income benefits. There could be expansion, diversification benefits. And we also mention here the certain sacrifice for uncertain benefits. So you can actually see already we're talking about expected future benefits. There's risks associated with that. And we're talking about uncertain benefits. Once again, we're attempting to forecast the future and look at rates of return for conscious capitalists, and look at the risks associated with that. And clearly, if we're looking at the major infrastructure, that is the foundation of the expansion of tourism. It's airlines, it's airports, it's ports, it's hotels, it's resorts, land transportation, and of course the other ancillary facilities such as convention centres and other tourism attractions and things of this nature. And I guess I should apologise at the outset that I'm probably not talking about small businesses, but clearly they have a function a function and a role to play in the development of tourism in any destination. But really, it's the major infrastructure, whether that be government-sponsored infrastructure or the private sector infrastructure, that is, serious capital infusion is required. And I mentioned resorts here. Now, clearly, the people who invest in hotels and resorts, they can be private, high net worth individuals, or they can be institutional investors. They can be pension funds, superannuation funds, and institutional investors. And most of them, certainly in the West, in North America, Australia, and in Europe, use the concept of discounted cash flows. A very, very important financial, it's used in the valuation of property, whether that be investment valuations or market valuations. I only mention this because the discounted cash flows are the cornerstone of financial analysis when it comes to the things tourism related. Now, the sustainability, it's worth just mentioning the definition, at least the definition that I've come up with in relation to, I think you can see it, probably no point in my reading it, but clearly we're talking about economic viability, we're talking about social equity, and we're talking about environmental integrity, and it behoves financiers to really understand that if they're financing a potentially sustainable development, they need to understand that there are responsibilities in relation to matters beyond just financial return. So I mentioned here, I've come up with the term homeostatic tourism because one of the concerns that I have about the sustainability development movement is that sustainability can infer some static nature, that we're setting standards and they're essentially set in concrete, when in fact, if we look at homeostasis, it comes from medicine. It's essentially looking at a system which is in equilibrium when there's significant change outside the system. So I just think that the whole concept of sustainability is likely to change into the future. Okay, let's just move on. Now, one of the things that I find that most tourism assets, feasibility studies are undertaken, whether they be public or private sector feasibility studies. And most of these are what we call point estimates. And clearly the Excel spreadsheet, I know there are other forms that are used, but most feasibility studies look at point estimates. They come up with projected occupancies, projected room rates, projected number of passengers, projected number of visitors to a location. But these point estimates, they underwrite so many investments, but they provide no variance. In other words, they're not looking at the probability that they'll be 10, 20, 30% higher or 10, 20, 30% lower. And so for institutional investors that are looking for investment, that they are looking for risk-adjusted rates of return. And the only way they can adjust their knowledge of the return is looking at risk. And so for the last 40 years, I've spent a lot of time developing Monte Carlo simulation models. Now, I know this sounds in fact, Monte Carlo it came from the Second World War and the development of the atomic bomb. They used simulation models. They looked at probabilities. And so I just throw up here, this is a very simple model. You can see it in red here. These probability simulation models can assist small, medium-sized and large-sized investors really come to terms with the risks associated with their investment. So one of the things that I'm doing here in Indonesia is introducing some of these concepts to investors and developers, and sometimes small operators, people who are involved in the development of ecotourism resorts, for example, in Bali and Labuan Bajo. Another thing that concerns me in relation to sustainability, in relation to tourism, is the reliance on a lot of benchmarking material. Now, the firm that I once worked for, a very good firm, Horwath, does a lot of consulting work in the hospitality, but they put out an annual report on the profitability of hotels, but they also put out information on sustainability metrics. And most of these metrics are looking at input and output in terms of the efficiency of power, water consumption, water treatment. And the problem with a lot of these simple metrics is that it doesn't truly reflect the operations of many businesses, because in the production of a room night in a hotel, there's clearly a whole series of inputs a series of outputs, the number of room nights sold, the quality of the room night, the satisfaction of guests. And so there's a technique that we've been using called data development analysis, been around for many, many years. And it's used in a lot of public utilities and looking at the efficiency in far a more rigorous way than what is currently practiced in the sustainability field. So it's my belief that in relation to investment in the Greater Asia region, those organisations, whether they be private sector private sector companies, state-owned businesses, or smaller enterprises, the concept of risk, understanding and quantifying risk is paramount. Now, there's very, very few people who are involved in the tourism industry who aren't in the business of raising capital. Sometimes they might be small loans, small investments, from roadside stalls to souvenir stores to multi-million-dollar hotel investments. Risk is involved in each and every one of these things. And if you look at the capitalist system, a rate of return is a function of risk. It's absolutely critical. You cannot talk about a rate of return, whether it be on a souvenir store or a restaurant or a travel company or an institutional investor, institutional hotel or resort, without understanding risk. So I would implore anyone involved in tourism to take a more quantifiable approach to risk assessment, and because there's very little difference between investors. If I mention a 10% rate of return, most people have some understanding of what a 10% rate of return is. Now, we could argue whether it's over a 10-year period or whether it's an annualized return. But when we start talking about risk, no two people have the same definition of risk. And if you can quantify it using international terms, I just believe that many of these projects that are difficult to finance or fund, and even when it comes to private sector investment, public sector investment in the hospitality industry, the use of simulation models can be very useful. So that's really all I wanted to say. I know it's probably out of left field that I've presented this material, but I hope it's just it'll generate some ideas and thoughts for you to contemplate. And I thank you for your participation, and thank you very much for inviting me to participate.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Ross. And yes, indeed, the conversations here is very much in sharing about, you are on the spot on like the various type of investments that can go in. And yes, there is a huge potential for people in the capital market to delve into the industry. And that's what we are showcasing today. Thanks for bringing it up, being understanding conscious capitalism or sustainability and all of that. So thank you once again, because now we are going to get into a panel discussion before we, get into more networking sessions. We're going to have a mini networking session later. For those of you who are tuning in, we definitely will have an opportunity to interact. But before that, we're getting into a panel discussion. This panel discussion is going to showcase sustainability and innovation, right? So, Mr. Ross, you want to stop sharing?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Okay, let me see if I can.
No, I've got it. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Right.
So we are going to be having this panel discussion with two very, very experienced professionals in the industry of innovation and in the industry of sustainability tourism. So we have with us Mr. Ibrahim Nizam, who is the Minister. Minister Ibrahim Nizam brings with him the accumulative strengths and in-depth knowledge of Maldives tourism and associated industries, and he acquired over a career span of 35 years. He started his journey in 1982. Right now, he's the Minister for Environment and Energy, I think it's in Environment, Climate. Climate change, environment, and energy. Okay, Minister of State of Maldives, Minister of State,
change, environment.
yes, Minister of Climate Change, Environment, and Energy. So again, you can look at his profile. Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Nizam, for joining us. We also have in the panel with us Madam Jennifer Isaac. She is a professional in the technology space, a business owner, and also the UAE convener of Indian Chamber of International Business, also known as Investment Chamber for International Business. So we'd like to welcome Ms. Jennifer Isaac, the Director of Cross Assist in Infotech Private Limited with international presence in US, UAE, and etc. Welcome, Madam, Ms. Jennifer.
Pleasure, Dr. Aziza.
Yes. So the conversation with both of you is very much in the space of sustainability and innovation. So I like to start with sustainability because we just ended a conversation about sustainability, and Maldives is known and has been branded. And I want to hear from you, Mr. Nizam, what is the conversation we're having with you today is how is sustainable tourism defined in Maldives?
Hello, everybody. Good evening from the Maldives. It's about, I think, 6 o'clock in the evening now, going to be 4 minutes about. In the Maldives. Maldives is a very nice tropical country. Throughout the year, we have summertime here. The sustainability we are going to talk about, Maldives always maintained in eco-friendly tourism. We have very strict regulations where tourism is concerned, or where the whole country is very much eco-conscious, environmentally friendly, and we are doing a lot of work to preserve the nature here. And when it comes to tourism, we started in 1972 with very little that we had. It was a very simple beginning. We had palm leaves, cottage coconut palms, and we didn't have training. We didn't know what to do, how to cater to anybody. There was maybe 1 or 2, 3 staff in the resort, and the manager will be doing everything. And this is how we started. And it was an Italian who came here, and he said, "This is a nice place for tourism." And some people said, "No, this is going to be a big loss." And then, of course, he encouraged the Maldives, some youngsters there, to begin with the tourism. And then we started very simply and very humble beginning with small cottage huts, with coconut palms. And we didn't have even fresh water for showers. No hot water, no air condition, nothing. Simple fans and everything. And then today we have villas ranging from what do you call $150 to $30,000 per night. So that's how the Maldives is today. And we started simply, but then gradually we were growing up, and then in the middle of 1980s we took a turn. Our strength was one island, one resort, the privacy. That was one island, one resort, we call it. Each island is one resort. We don't have 2 hotels on one island. And then you cannot build more than, the built up area should not be more than 30% of the island. And the highest house or highest building in the island should be not above the highest tree in the island. So these kind of things were there. I mean, strict rules, for building also. And then in the middle, we began with one island, one resort, and then that was the blue ocean strategy for us, because nowhere in the world they had the one island, one resort. So the competition became irrelevant, and we started with the one island, one resort, and the niche market, luxury market. That's the niche market we had. So today we have won lots of awards, and even last 3 years we are the world's leading destination of the world, the Maldives. And during COVID also we survived because of the niche market we had. Because the luxury market, the niche market is the low volume, high price, high yield strategy that we adopted. And then these are the people who always travel, even if the worst of the times, they travel. So we survived even we closed the border only for a couple of months, maybe 2 or 3 months, and then we opened, for this niche market. Yeah.
I
And
would
then,
like to, rather than talking about Maldives, I'm sure everybody will have a treat of Maldives if we see a short 1-minute video on that. How about that, everyone? Let's look into that and enjoy the current, dynamics of it. And this is how, when we normally say, take a deep breath in, breathe in the energy of relaxation, of, luxury. And, when Mr. Nizam says it's $30,000 a night, and that kind of a tourism development can happen in a country. So there's a lot to learn in terms of how the dynamics runs. And I just want to quickly gear this towards, when we talk about sustainability, innovation is completely tied in with that. And technology is always known for this, right? Innovation and technology goes hand in hand. Madam Mrs. Jennifer, in your thoughts, in your view, how much of technology is actually used in tourism and travel? Because it's supposed to be one of the game changer for the capital market. When we say technology, everybody want to invest. But, in your take, how does that look like?
Good evening, Dr. Aziza. Pleasure to be here with all the dignitaries here. Thank you. And a big namaste from India. So if you talk about the technology, Mr. Nizam just said about Maldives, okay? And Maldives, if you see, it's a very eco-friendly environment. Of course, the high-class travel that can go on with the eco-friendly environment. Maldives is one of the one of the destinations, of course. And then if you look at the technology, imagine, just think of the way that we all are right now. We are all in Zoom meeting currently. What's this? This is technology, correct? We're all in this world, and everybody sitting out over here would have got more used to it probably during pandemic. We all use this technology more often than one-on-one meetings. That is on one side. But when we look at the travel and tourism part, think of the way that has become so simple, where people just have to click on with the buttons and the entire travel plan is ready. Be it the Gen AI and Chat GPT that we say, you just get the entire travel plan. Correct? Am I right or not? We would like to have the session a little bit more interactive rather than just having panel discussions here. Okay. So you look at the statistics, some years back, people said that in the year 2024, Chat GPT and Gen AI are the ones that are going to be very popular. And yes, it is indeed become really popular. Don't you all think?
Yes.
You all can raise your hands. Yes, it is. That is what is popular. Imagine people just want to say that I want to travel to Maldives. Put it in Chat GPT and just figure out what is it showing for next 3 to 4 days you want to travel there. You'll get the entire plan. That's called as technology. Imagine for the future of technology. Imagine Hyperloop, something which goes on very fast travel. Imagine the major cities gets traveled very quickly. That definitely benefits the tourism industry. On my personal view, you know what I like? I like the virtual and the augmented reality. Just think, well, before you even enter a place, you could see what is there, how the room is, how the place is. Can you all ever imagine that?
Yeah.
That's the way the technology has evolved, completely revolutionized in this current generation. There you go, Aziza.
Thank you. Thank you. And you know something, this I feel is not really embraced by the industry as a whole yet. There are specks of here and there where people just take on technology in using it. But when it comes to the industry itself, it is still underexplored. And people are just a little disillusioned that they are getting not enough effort, education, knowledge in taking this forward. And that itself can be a huge opportunity for the technology industry. And you are also into fintech and the various dynamics you bring in is also part of this development, right? When fintech comes in, it is the finance, the banks, and all these various bodies that can get involved in making transactions easier, not just for the daily transactions of the industry, but even into funding and equity market of the industry as well. There's a huge vacuum there for the techno. So those businesses in the technology field, you are in the room, you may want to grab this opportunity as well. Don't you agree, Madam Jennifer?
Yep, definitely. If you look at the global travel app revenues, it was said that it will grow up by 17% in the year 2024. It would reach nearly $400 million. But do you know what is it that it's going to be estimated till the end of 2024? Any guesses?
No.
If you all can do the Google. It's crossing more than approximately estimated more than $900 billion. So just imagine the revenue cycle a year in the travel and tourism industry. That's a
Yes.
big thing.
It's a big thing. It's a big thing. And we know that Maldives has been going into the space of branding around it. And when they do their work around branding, there is a certain tagline you use to innovate the way that you do your branding and receive, that helps receiving fundings, because branding is a very important pillar of valuation. And if your business is not having a proper branding, your valuation can be affected. But Maldives is doing a good job on that. So maybe Mr. Nizam, you can share with us how does Maldives brand as a good learning experience and case study for all of us here.
Yeah, Maldives started. We had a different brand in during 1970s, 80s. That was called the Art of Doing Nothing. That was the beginning of the tourism industry here. Then we didn't have much to do here, so we said the art of doing nothing. So everybody who comes here, they thought, okay, lie down on the beach and be lazy and slow and everything, you know. So we thought that this isn't working, because if we always kept evolving. We did our own research. The Maldives did research, and we evolved. We adopted to the new demands of the market. You know, new demands. So it was the art of doing nothing. Then we rebranded to the sunny side of life. And the sunny side of doesn't mean that every day we have sun. It means the pleasant side of life, the happy side, the pleasant side, the brighter side of life, because this is where people come for leisure. Throughout the year we have tropics, and this is the brand in sunny side of life. We sold privacy. Privacy was the main factor, the harmony, the peace and harmony, and that is and also personalized service, the service that the Maldivians offer from the bottom of the heart, you know, with a smile. That is the Maldivian way of winning, you know. That is what do you call very, very generous smile, the service. This is what we were selling, and the privacy. The clients who came here, the repeaters, they sometimes call the resort management and say, I want to go there because Ali is my room boy, or Ali is my waiter. So this was the attachment they had, you know. So this is the kind of way we start. And then 10, 15 years ago, we built medium class hotels in the islands, you know, that is community-based tourism. we started. Hotels in the islands, where you can stay with the community as well in a separate hotel. So these are budget, conscious people, medium economy people, like $50, $60, $90, $100, you can afford it. And then we started, there are about 800 of these hotels. And we have liveaboats, cruising also. Cruising of different budgets, in air condition, non-AC, about 140, 180 cruise vessels we have, safari boats. We have 180 resort islands. We have about 1,200 islands in total. So this is how it is. So now we have a holistic approach in marketing. We have this middle market. We have in island community-based tourism. We have the cruising tourism. We have the niche market. We have so all this we are trying to market in a holistic way, holistically in a harmonious way, because you cannot sell one this because these are all different segments of the market, right? So we try to sell privacy in general. So we adopting now cross promotion. When the resorts market their products, we ask them to promote the neighboring island as well, something gastronomy or the foodie travelers or something like nomad travelers. Because after pandemic, we have the sustainable travelers. These are the people called the nomads, the people who travel with the laptop and stay there 2-3 months and 1 month also. And
The
then
gig economy.
yeah. And then gastronomy also. So the Maldives is adopting to the holistic market, different. We call it affordable luxury in an affordable way. To suit every pocket. So the luxury means because what you can't afford to buy in New York City, you can buy here. That is the privacy, the harmony, and the peace. So it becomes luxury because you can't buy even with $1,000 for a night the privacy, right? So we are selling the privacy, the harmony, the peace, and nature, of course, nature.
Nature.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So this
And
is
one thing as we round off, understanding about this whole Maldives conversation, just now, Mr. Ross talked about the funding, investment models, various models are there. What is the common funding model in Maldives, and what are the pros and cons? You want to share a little bit about that? So, how does these hotels get funded? Are they of a specific nature? How open is it to the equity market?
actually the most hotels here we have franchise. International hotel chains, because for international hotel chains to have a hotel in the mall is a prestige. If we don't have a hotel, we have gained such a fame, world global fame, that for global hotel chains, popular hotel chains, to be here is a prestige, is a winning factor. You go to this particular hotel and say, do you also have hotel in malls? It's a shame for them to say, no, we don't have. So, so lots of people, international hotel chains started building it here, So that's how it became. The funding is, of course, banks are there, development banks, not, investment banks of mostly. And resorts are that's a business model. The other funding, of course, for green fund, etc., it's a different story. That goes to somewhere. But then in tourism industry, is mainly business.
Yes.
The business people internationally or locally, their proposal is so viable because investing in the Maldives is not like investing in other countries. The return of investment, your payback period is 4 to 5 years.
Yes. Yes.
With average occupancy 70% throughout the year, and ADR is about 300 or to 400, $500 ADR average daily. So with this, why not use invest here? In other countries, it's 20 years, right? The thing is, the people who come here are the low volume, high price people. The strategy is that it's a niche market. So, and occupancy is 70% throughout the year. So the advantage is whatever the circumstances, your occupancy is guaranteed.
Yeah. So I have a life story of that. One of our friend actually have a hospital chain, right? A clinic 10 over branches, and he owns a hotel. He says that I don't want to do I love my hospital work. I want to sell off my hotel. I'm asking him, is it not doing well? No, we're making like $4-5 million. I'm like, okay. So anyone who's running a business, they always have a hotel chain, a hotel group that's doing extremely well. So I so relate to you on that space for sure. So thank you for that. And we want to ask the final question to Ms. Jennifer. What are some of the possible technology innovation that can happen in the industry so that the valuation of the businesses that get into the tourism industry can be, can grow?
Yeah. So what do others think about this valuation? Let me ask that. I can see a lovely face over there. Cindy, madam, would you like to say something? I know the question is for me, but I thought, why not? Someone should speak on that. Do you think something better in the valuation from your end?
What is valuation, Cindy? You're asking a go global.
But I
She's
like
asking what is valuation.
Anyways, that's okay. I would take this up. So you know what? When we talk about the valuation, it's just not real estate that comes here into the picture. Like Mr. Nizam just said that if you do not have a hotel here in Maldives, that's a big, big shame, correct? There his valuation drops if someone doesn't have a hotel over there. Imagine if somebody has a hotel over there, his valuation is increased. So no doubt, imagine, let's take one example, okay? UAE, okay? I am also the UAE convener, so let me just give one example of that. No offenses for any other countries present here. So UAE, whenever you people travel, imagine, don't you all think that every time you keep traveling there, some or the other changes keeps happening?
Yeah.
It does, right? Every time that you all go over there, there is definitely something new that is coming for you all. That's tourism. That's some kind of changes that happens. How is it that they are in a position to do and why we are not in a position to do? Have you all ever thought about that? Think on that angle also as to why not us. But at the same time, imagine if we talk about AI in construction. Whatever, if there's a construction which happens for 2 years, 3 years, oh, the tourism is gone for a toss. Imagine a hotel getting constructed within 6 months or within 1 year. Quick tourism, right? When we talk about Hyperloop, oh, imagine that Hyperloop speed is coming up into the construction. Of course, that also increases your valuation. Every single thing, right from the hotel bookings, right from the air flight bookings, the transportation, every single thing is getting automatically increases that your valuation, right? Even from, if you see the, I would say the contributions that every tourist comes and puts into the particular country. Yes, imagine the tourism's contribution that adds to your GDP. So right from an individual, right from the technology, right from every single bookings that are done, your valuation increases. From my personal, and I would say that AI in the construction, please think on that, how quickly, if you keep changing, if you keep doing something different and something quicker, yes, definitely your valuation increases in this industry. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So what's your final words from both Mr. Nizam and Jennifer in terms of taking the tourism industry, like investing in the tourism industry? What is your message for everyone? So Mr. Nizam, maybe you can go first and then Madam Jennifer.
Yes, investing in tourism industry, of course, investing in the country, in Maldives, in tourism industry, I would say, because my experience is in Maldives.
Yeah.
And I would say that's going to be a great investment because the return will be 100. I mean, definitely of profitable, you wouldn't worry because the growth, the demand growth is, I think, 7 to 8% here yearly. And we had 1.7 million tourist arrivals in 2019. Last year we had 1.9, and during COVID we had 500,000. That was the least, I mean, we had. And this year we are expecting 2 million. So you can imagine our population is 450,000, less than 500,000, nearly 500,000, maybe including the foreign workers here. So the tourist arrival is much higher than the population of the country. And we do not count on numbers. In fact, we want the volume, I mean, the price, the number of bed nights, etc., etc. Post-COVID, of course, the travel trend was different. They started to travel in region-wise and for short stay, etc. But now we have the traditional markets growing again. Traditional markets, European, Germany, Italy, UK, etc., and Russia. So I would say investing in the Maldives is going to be, of course, of great benefit. You wouldn't regret. This is for sure.
Yes.
You can see from the experience, you can see from the statistics. We have everything online, tourism.gov.mb, Maldives Tourism Ministry, you have everything online. Even ease of doing business is good here. I mean, it's very easy. And you can own 100% investment. Foreigners can own 100%. You don't have to have a Maldivian partner.
Very fantastic. You know, I see Dato looking very keenly. I know she will invite you to most likely, have a conversation on how Sabah can add value to, increase tourism to Sabah with the support of Maldives working together. Thank you. And Madam Jennifer, what's your final take on this?
Imagine I just said some time back, what's the global revenue app that's coming up from 400 million that was being spoken, and here it is crossing almost reaching near to $900 billion. What do y'all think? Travel and tourism better place to invest?
Yes.
Of course, indeed, it is definitely. These are the statistics which are showing. I'm not saying that. The statistics shows that. So yes, definitely that investment is going to be worth. We just hope to pray to God that the pandemic never hits back again. That's it. And definitely this industry will boom. It will continuously boom. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you both of you, Mr. Nizam and Ms. Jennifer, for the interactive conversation on this. Really appreciate it. Being pandemic proof is the conversation here. How do you make your hospitality, travel, tourism business pandemic proof? That's what we need to understand. And that's where, Go Global is really excited. And this work that we are doing is encouraging people to step into so that you can get lots of business no matter what happens in the industry. Okay. So with that, we're going to be going for a short break. Before that, I have one more. And the short break includes an interactive session of networking. And before we go, we really have to listen to this one person that I feel is so important. 我很喜欢的一个人，一个地方. That means a place that he's going to speak about that I love so much. And I would like to, so shall we go for a break first then? I think we'll go for a break and then we'll invite him in. How about that? Mr. Reza, how about that?
How long break? I mean,
about 10 minutes of break, but we're going to have interaction. So those who want to take a toilet break, you can take your toilet break, bio break rather. And the rest of us can have a quick chat, introduce yourself. For those who are joining in the room, you can quickly introduce yourself and have a chance to network and, even ask questions in this break if you want to.
Just want to add something that also we have one more speaker, as you know, Professor Wolfgang Arlett.
Yes, he's going to be the next one. Yes.
He's going to be the next one also. Hi.
Yes, he's going to speak. That's why I said, 我最喜欢的一个地方. That means a place that I love so much. The tourism in China. Woo! Yeah, so.
Also,
Professor.
the amazing friend, Diana from Jamaica. She's the founder of the community tourism and so on. So maybe she can also add something as she's here.
Sure. And you can please unmute and speak. Madam
Diana, do you want to say something?
Thank you very much. I'm sorry I'm late, but I was supposed to be on the road and then I decided to join. I'm very excited about this forum and I look forward to getting the recording. I'm the founder and president of Country Style Community Tourism Network, and we have a program called Villages as Businesses, which we would love to have in your area. So that's
Nice.
something that I'm going to put my information in the chat here so that you have how to link with me. But keep up the good work. It sounds good. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Jagna. This is how we meet and network across the globe, right? I'm sure Institute Tourism has been providing that platform for people to connect and introduce yourself. Cindy, you want to do an introduction, Cindy? You're staying awake. It's 2 a.m., lady. What are you doing here? Say hello to Dato.
Hi, I'm Cindy from New Zealand. I'm the founder of Heart Venture, and I'm an abstract artist, and I'm also a shareholder of Go Global. Lovely to meet everybody here.
And what do you do? Share about your art. I mean, you're supposed to do an introduction of your art, not...
Okay, so I'm an abstract artist, and I am looking to put my art into hotels and making the hotel an affiliate whereby a guest can buy a high quality, museum quality reproduction of my art, and then the hotel gets an affiliate fee if a guest purchases a copy of my art.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, and the art pieces are hanging in Sabah International Convention Centers. She's having some pieces in the convention center as well. Anyone else would like to do an introduction? Everybody's, even if you're not switching on the camera.
Hi,
Yes,
I'm
go
Bunny
ahead.
Pula from
Hi.
South Africa.
Hi, nice.
And I'm part of the IIPT chapter in South Africa, Diane's colleague in South Africa.
Nice.
And one of our areas that we focus very strongly is we have associations with the Gandhi and Mandela Foundation in South Africa, and we present the Gandhi Mandela Youth Symposium, which we just did 2 weeks ago at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. And I just wanted to share with you from a historical perspective. We come from the area called Pietermaritzburg. Pietermaritzburg is what we believe to be the center of the universe for democracy. No city can claim to have Gandhi being thrown off the train, and a mere 10 minutes away from the railway station is the site where Mandela was captured. So that's our claim to fame, or our USP in the city of Pietermaritzburg. But we work within the areas of Gandhi, Mandela, and our association with Martin Luther King very closely with Stanford University to empower youth. We have a memorial lecture and also a peace walk, especially in these challenging times where wars are everywhere. And we work in those avenues to promote tourism through the IIPT. So that's a little bit about us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. This is how we can network and know more wonderful things that's happening around the world. Thank you for that.
Sheena, I'm Sharon Paris Chambers, Nana Sharon from Jamaica, member of the country style or Caribbean, what is it, Diana? IIPT Caribbean, founded by Diana McIntyre Pike, our veteran community tourism pioneer who's right there with you. We have developed Temple of Inner Peace, which is a place she's identified. It's a peaceful oasis for people to come, interfaith people or anyone, to be one with nature. And this space she would love to see around the world and the Caribbean, of course, first. So please check with me. My information is in the chat. Thank you so much for an excellent summit and interview.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Appreciate that. Yes, we have
Hi, there's my turn. Hello.
Yes, Tony, just 1 minute. We have someone raise hand here. I'll come to you in a bit. Mohammed.
Okay, I will first. I'm from Thailand, from Miratapong Yanyong. So now I own the traveling platform called CocoSap. So I want to expand network for the sustainable and wellness around the globe. So love to have a conversation with all of you, and it's a nice event as well. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Tony. You want to put the link into your link into the group so that people get to know your wonderful platform from Thailand that you are putting together and, growing. He's extremely connected in the region. Tony has got a wonderful network from Vietnam and various countries as well. Hi, Mr. Muhammad.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tony. Yes, Mr. Muhammad. You're muted.
You're muted.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay now.
Oh, okay.
Hello everyone. I'm
Wow.
Mohammed, originally from Iran. Nowadays, I'm living in Northern Cyprus and studying tourism management at EMU University of Northern Cyprus.
Nice.
Tourism management. I'm fond of sustainability, service quality management, and tourism recreation facilities. And it's my honor to join to the experts of tourism summits today and enjoy your lectures, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And then we're going to have Shraddha and Madam Shraddha and Professor Sheikh after that. And we're going to go back to the session. All right. Thank you, Madam Shraddha. The mic is yours.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shraddha. I'm the co-founder and director of Travel Baits. So we are building a new age tourism experience company, which is, going to provide immersive and authentic experiences from India. So we have built an e-learning portal, which includes the cultural and heritage sites of India. And my hook statement is, did you know there are how many UNESCO World Heritage Sites are there in India? Yes, you can learn about them on our portal. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Shraddha.
Hello.
Yes, Professor Sheikh. Yes. Professor Sheikh.
Hello to everyone. I'm Professor Sheikh, as name suggests. I'm Professor of Tourism, returning my knowledge which I gained in the industry for last 40 years as my social responsibility to uplift the capacity of students. I'm a champion for sustainable and responsible tourism. My concern always has been with regard to sustainability not working in few countries at grassroots level. How do we address this? Because government and academia are seriously working towards it. We are bringing a lot of attention, but when it comes to the bottom of bringing this sustainable, responsible tourism into action, we find at times helpless. So some suggestions, not as a policy, but to bring this. This is happening in few countries of the world. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. And where are you from, sir?
I'm from Mumbai, basically, but a world traveler, 68 countries. Very modestly, I'm sharing to the world I've traveled. My friends lovingly call me Ibn Battuta II.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone. Welcome back. That was a short interim to get to know some of you in the room. And so glad that everybody connected. So as we come into the second half of the conversation, which is like for the next 1 hour, so we have a lot more happening. At the end of the session, we're going to do an assessment for your business to see if it's investable and bankable, and how much funds can you raise. Come on, I'm just joking. But really how you can get money into your business. We're going to look at that. And before that, right now we are inviting Professor Wolfgang Art, and he is one of our wonderful panel keynote speaker, and he's a very good friend of Mr. Reza. He mentioned that we must include him because he comes with an extreme knowledge in the travel industry, especially more than 45 years across China, and that is one country that we all know we can learn from in a most amazing way. You know, being Chinese educated from childhood, I know the power of the culture and the work of China that has impacted the world. So I'm really excited to hear and also learn from him on his tenure at this moment. With more than 20 years, he has been serving as a professor of international tourism management and as CEO of the China Outbound Tourism Research Institute. Welcome, Mr. Professor Dr. Wolfgang.
Okay, thank you very much for having me and for your kind introduction. And of course, it's a great thing you're doing. So let me see if I can share my slides with you. Can you see them?
Not yet. By the way, do you speak Chinese? Just curious.
一点点，
一点点，OK，可以了。
不得好，
很好。
我在德国学的，另外在台湾学的，另外在香港学的。
哇，太好了，台湾、上海都有。
Okay, so can you see my slides?
No, not yet.
Well, then maybe.
Boucher.
You have.
没有，没有。
Just a second. Okay, now it should work. Now it works?
Got it. Yes.
Very good. Okay, good. So when Reza told me about this event, I was very interested, and looking at the program, I thought there's one element which I couldn't see anybody is talking about. And so this is about not only about China, also about China, which is climate change. So which is the investment has to do with the future. So you're always investing for things to come. And that's why I thought I'd do a very short interaction talking about the most important fact which will shape tourism industry and basically our life in the next decades. And but not only telling you the bad news, but also telling you that there's some good news, that we are working with partners on a way to have a data-based forecasting instrument, which gives you very precise ideas where in the world what will change in tourism down to less than a square kilometer. So already I've been introduced. So yes, I've been working a lot with China and of course with tourism. And well, one interesting thing is that I can share with you that in 3 weeks I will move from Europe to Asia for good. So I retired from my university job, and I decided that I want to leave Europe behind. And I've been to many places, and in the end I thought that the nicest, most friendly people I encountered are living in Nepal. So I decided to move to Kathmandu. So in 3 weeks, I have a one-way ticket and will be closer to many of you. So very quick look at the big picture. I think we are unfortunately not far away from saying with Homo sapiens peak has been reached. We had a good time, but at least the next century will not be so much fun anymore. And we are moving from VUCA times to Schumpeter times. What does that mean? So maybe you heard in the past this VUCA, that VUCA times. It was a very used term before the pandemic, and VUCA stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. So basically that things became more and more complicated and we didn't know anymore what will happen. Unfortunately, now we know what will happen. Climate change will happen. And we are now moving to something which for investment is very important, which is something which was developed first by Mr. Schumpeter in the last century, creative destruction. So that you have to embrace destruction so that the new things are coming, taking over from the old things. And we had earlier in the discussion very positive things said about technology and hyperloops and stuff. And I think this is a big difference that in Europe, all these new technologies are always seen very critical. And first you ask what are the bad things, whereas in Asia, normally there's a much more positive approach, saying, "Oh, this is useful. That makes life more easy. So let's do that." So that you have to, and also as a company, that you have to stop doing things the way you did before and start doing them in a different way, because we see already now that in many places, beach resorts, it's just getting too hot. So if it's 50 degrees, nobody wants to go to the beach anymore. I just came back a few days ago from the Dolomite Mountains, from the Alps in Italy. They have less and less snow. So basically, all the winter sports industry is going down, and you have to react now to this. And so it's not a good idea to say, "Oh, we have snow cannons, we do artificial snow." This is not environmental friendly, it's very expensive, and also it only works up to a certain level. So instead of trying to keep the old as long as possible, to embrace creative destruction, embrace having new things. Because, I mean, you turn on the TV news and you see all these things happening. It was never hotter. We have more and more floods and forest fires and what have you. In Europe, probably in 15 years, the Gulf Stream will stop, and then all the UK and all Northern Europe will be glaciers. So London will be under 10 meters of ice. And also on the social level, unfortunately, you see at the SDG reports, SDG goals are not reached, not at all. So we are in this situation. And the gentleman on the photo, this is the Secretary General of the World Meteorological Organization of United Nations. And he said already 2 years ago, even if we stop polluting completely tomorrow morning, which will not happen, the situation will get worse every year for 4 more decades. So for the next 40 years, we will have to cope with and adapt to more and more extreme weather. And the carbon dioxide production has been going on and on and on. And so with all the politicians speaking and all the conferences done, there is no sign that something is really happening to stop it. And even, as we just said, even if we stop it now, it will be decades where still the result of what we did in the last 20, 30 years is to be seen. And if you don't believe me, well, there's a Pope who also said last year, I have realized that our responses to climate change have not been adequate and that we might be nearing the breaking point. So this is a situation which is, and what does that mean for tourism? That means all business models are crashing, as I just said. So places get too hot. There's no more snow. You have droughts. You have hailstorms. You have lack of water. So you have many places now where the local people start protesting because, like in Spain, for instance, they are supposed not to fill their swimming pool anymore because there's not enough water. But next door, the hotel swimming pool is allowed to fill up with water because this is for tourism business. But of course, locals are not happy about that. And we see a necessary shift from more outdoor activities to more indoor activities, which will be a challenge for a place like the Maldives, that if temperatures going up further, sea water levels rising, you have more jellyfish, more algae, and so on. That will become a problem. So we will see in many places that summer is not the main season anymore, but people will go to other seasons. And we will see, already we see this now, that this idea, as the minister said, well, doing nothing, just hanging out, this is not what most people want to do now. So most tourists, especially the national tourists, they don't work in jobs where their body is strained, so they don't need to rest their limbs. What they want is input into their mind. They want to experiences, or they want to learn something, or they want to take care of their health, including mental health. So we see more and more people traveling to meet other people, to make new friends, to follow their hobby, their special interest, to learn something, to do something for staying healthy or getting healthy again. And also, as we see less and less young people, especially in the industrialized countries, we have a bigger percentage of senior travelers. Already now, about a quarter of the travelers, international travelers, are more than 60 years old. And so we will have less families with kids and more older people who are then less interested in volleyball and drinking boots, but more interested in culture and learning and meeting other people. So this is a general picture. And what I said, when you talk to hotel investors, other investors, they say, okay, this is the global picture, but of course it is different for different places. Norway and Northern Europe is saying how wonderful, it's getting a bit warmer here and the people are running away from the heat. So now more people come to Norway. So they even have a word for this, which is called coolcation. So vacation and cool together, coolcation, people running away from the heat, going to the temperate places. So therefore, investors, of course, don't need global development. They need specific information on a regional and even on a local place. And this is what I wanted to share with you, that we have now with colleagues, what has been developed is new computer programs which are able to produce a forecast for a space of 0.2 square kilometers. So this is about talking about in Chinese size, Tiananmen Square is about 1 unit, and the Forbidden Palace, Forbidden City is one unit. So you can have a precise idea how much more warmer it gets, humid it gets, how often is it likely that you have a thunderstorm for a small area like Tiananmen Square. Or if you would take Vientiane, the capital of Laos, you have 20,000 grid units for that. So, and then the good news about weather, about climate, is that you have all kind of data freely available. So temperature and humidity is measured everywhere in the world on a low level, and this data are freely available online. So then with that, you can do a lot of scenarios, best case scenario, worst case scenario for different times, and really for very tiny places. So therefore, if you have to, you have to take climate change into account if for your investment decision, and B, with this kind of program, which I'm happy to introduce if somebody's interested, you can do this in a very precise local way. So this is a small graph how that works. So you have from climate models and climate data, and you know what tourists are doing, and through the climate scenarios, you can say what will happen there. Then you can either, if you're a destination, you can develop a strategy how to stay in the business, maybe by adapting your offers, or as investor to go to this place or to that place. So that at the end helps you to come to a investment decision. So to sum up, so the need is there to include changes in demand and possible offers based on climate change in investment decisions. And it is possible now to base these decisions on precise data for small areas. And we can see that Tourism 2.0 has started already, and investors need to look forward if they want to invest and to avoid to invest in business models which are no longer sustainable. And this is not only to save the planet. So it's not only to say you should be a good person, you should do something for your grandchildren, but this is just for business as well. This is to protect your investment and earn money from your investment. It's necessary and possible to look forward and to see how will climate change the possibilities of the place. So that's all. I just wanted to make sure that we don't forget that this is something which will shape all our discussions in the coming decades. You can see my contact, and as I said, from next month, I'm happy to talk to you also in Kathmandu. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Professor. I really appreciate your time and your presentation. I think it's a very important angle that you have covered. We would definitely be coming back to it in the conversation that we are having in the panel. Just before we get into the panel discussion with Victoria, I'd like to invite Mr. Peter. I think there was a little bit of a time confusion and it got delayed for he has to rush off to a meeting. Thank you so much, Peter, for making time to be with us. Maybe you want to just say hello and bye-bye so that everybody knows who you are. You want to give a quick introduction and then...
And a quick hello and just a few minutes, and then I have to actually say goodbye. So greetings from Italy. Typically, I'm based in the US and in the Netherlands. I split my time between the two continents, and I work as an advisor and investor for companies that are listing specifically in the US, focus on NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange. And I was to talk with you all today about the importance of planning and preparing for an exit strategy. And whether that's an IPO or a merger or an acquisition, the topic for Hand at Me and for everybody who's involved in business is really that an exit strategy is not really an option, but a necessity to plan for and to prepare for. And every company has their own life cycle. So part of the benefits of being able to plan, prepare, and organize your company for an eventual exit is of great importance and of great value. So I'm happy to connect with anybody. I'm going to put my LinkedIn here. I've also written a book about the entrepreneur's journey to an IPO. I'm happy to share that with anybody. Just connect with me on LinkedIn if you want to have further conversation. And I'm sure I'll see you again soon, and apologize for the mix up in the schedules. But as we say in America, time is money, and every money, and every time is critical to all of us as we look at our productivity and our efficiency. So best greetings. Thank you. And we'll connect again soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Peter. I appreciate that.
Okay.
And so thank you. Thank you so much. And so as we round off with the panel, I think it's very timely that we have the next panelists. Those of you who have saw the write-up on Victoria Hasanova, she is actually from UAE. I said it right this time. And she is the CEO and founder of the Global Invest, which is an investment platform with more than 1,500 projects delivered. And she's also had many, investors network that she works with closely. And if you go to the link, you can find her as a outstanding global initiative she has created and awards she has won, and currently based from Dubai as with her company there. So welcome, Victoria. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you, Dr. Aziza.
Yes.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. And this conversation that we want to have with you is very crucial because Peter was talking about exit strategy, and we definitely can talk into a little bit about that in detail. And also what Mr. Professor Wolfgang talked about when it comes to investing and the importance of looking at the returns when it comes to investing. So maybe I would love to have this conversation with you about getting your business to be investable and bankable. What are the various factors around it? So my first question to you will be, what are the challenges for investors when they are investing in this sector? What are the challenges?
Thank you for these very important questions. In my opinion, based on my long time experience, investing in tourism sector comes with several specific challenges. First, there is the high market volatility driven by seasonality and the influence of external factors such as uh, for example, global pandemics, political instability, and, for example, natural disasters. Secondly, in some countries, limited infrastructure requires significant investment in development. Lastly, in my opinion, a crucial aspect is the need for accurate risk assessment related to the cultural and legal nuances of different regions. However, with over 20 years of experience in investments, I can confidently say that with the right strategy and the risk diversification, the tourism sector offers significant opportunities for growth and returns.
Nice. I think this is an important factor because now that we are venturing into tourism development and we're getting all kind of, sometimes it feels like objection when we are doing into a project, we are saying, oh my God, there's so much of opportunity here. But when you go into the depth of it, you realize that there's more challenges and all the red flags shows up, especially when it comes to infrastructure in places and political reasons.
Yes,
Some of the big
especially in infrastructure. Yes.
and so that's a big one. And so coming to the point about the various factors as investors, what do you think are some of the important factors that investors need look at when they are investing in business? So this is generic, so a lot of people can get insights on that as well.
Okay. Investors primarily look for sustainable and scalable business models, of course. An important factors is the presence of the experienced management team capable of executing the company's strategy and effectively handling challenges. Another key aspect is financial transparency and the business ability to generate a stable income stream. Investors also focus on growth potential and the possibility of entering new markets. Equally important is understanding the company's competitive advantages and its unique market offering. For example, at Global Invest platform, we help investors find companies that meet these criteria and have high potential for successful collaboration.
And do you want to give us some, your personal take? Because I know you also invest in quite a lot of businesses on your side. So you want to give us an example of, what you look for in one of the businesses that you took up and you said, wow, this is good and there's potential. And I know you have exited some of them with good financial returns. So I would love to hear your success story on that.
If we talk about financial returns and if we talk about ROI, if, for example, I choose a project for myself, I start to see project from maybe 30% ROI.
Yeah.
This is I think a good rate for every project. But
Yeah.
of course, if we talk about IT industry, it can be maybe 100% and more, maybe 1000%.
Exactly. In fact, when we talk about the equity market, where a lot of startups are hanging out with, we realize that it's no more, it's actually multiple X. Many people think that investing, especially the hotel industry or the tourism industry, is still very conservative in the way that they raise their funds. So they do not know how to explore equity market. And so they think that, getting returns like 10% or 5% or a 10-year or 5-year waiting time for returns, which is usually the debt financing model, is actually not is obsolete in a way, and it's not very there's more potentially powerful models like the equity funding that investors can make use of. I mean, business owners can make use of. And when they run the equity model, investors are also looking at how many times they can get the returns, right? It is how many X, the valuation is no more just the return in terms of the profit, but also in terms of the valuation, how they can exit projects. And so this is something that the tourism industry players can look at, especially it's not just restricted to technology in the normal context of the myth. I think it's a myth that it's only technology they can do certain X. All businesses, if you go into the capital market, you can get powerful returns, and investors look for very strong returns in valuation as much as it's with the profit returns as well. So speaking into that, today's conversation on impact investment, I want to ask you, is impact investment or conscious capitalism attractive in Asia? Because and do you think it's important?
Yes, of course. Impact investment and conscious capitalism are gaining popularity in Asia for several reasons, in my opinion. First of all, the region's economic growth is increasingly accompanied for focus on sustainable development and social responsibility. Investors are increasingly seeking projects that not only generate profits, but also have a positive impact, as you said, on society, on the environment, for example. Secondly, Asian markets are becoming more mature, creating opportunities for innovative business models focused on long-term value. And the Global Invest, for example, actively supports such initiatives by providing investors with access to promoting promising projects that align with these principles. Because this is a very interesting, I think this is our future.
So, you know, this is something that I have been listening again and again, and I'm excited that we're talking about it here in Asia. In 2016, when I visited Silicon Valley and I was speaking to some of the investors, consultants, this is 2016, and they were already saying nowadays, back in 2016, that investors are ready to invest in businesses doing well and doing good and making money together. They know that investors can make money doing good. So that is where the investment cycle has actually started shifting. And I'm so happy that we are able to speak into this topic and also explore more Asian businesses getting into the impact investment and conscious capitalism space. And I know it's a lot about the education that needs to come in and people to really become aware that such an opportunity is available. So maybe you want to give your understanding of conscious business or because just now we talked about conscious business and all that. What's your definition of conscious business?
I think the main thing, this is not only earn money. You should impact to people, to maybe area that you build your business, because your money you can spend your money, but your impact you cannot spend. And this is for future, for your maybe children, and for another people. That's why I think every day more and more people wants to do conscious capitalism, wants to do conscious investments, because they understand how much this is important and how can impact for our world.
Yeah, thank you so much. And as we kind of speak into this, and we'd love you to connect, is there anything else, Victoria, you'd like to share with us? Maybe you want to give us any of your websites or details that we can actually connect with you and get connected for those of them who are looking at projects to get into investment.
Yes, of course. If you need investments in your project, or maybe you are an investor and you find some interesting projects from different type of countries, you can send me a message, and we can work together, and we can find investors, or we can find high profitable and very interesting projects for you.
Yes, thank you so much. And I think we also have put in the Global Invest website, where there is an international investment forum happening in Middle East, UAE, end of this year. So you can actually go in and take a look at how you can also participate and showcase your project, or if you're an investor, you can be part of the program as well. So thank you once again, Victoria,
Thank you,
for
Dr.
your
Aziza.
session and for your time with us as well. So thank you for everybody tuning in. As we know, this session is supposed to last with all the speakers tuning in. We want to just round it off. We promise you to check in with your business, how it's going to be functioning, whether it's investable and bankable, and whether there will be people willing to invest in your business. I have a follow-up on that as well, because as we sum this up, any questions y'all have for the speakers? Yes, any questions for anyone? No questions?
I think nobody has a question. Maybe we'll come back later.
Yeah, it's like, let me think about it. You can actually put it into the chat group. If you have any questions, we can also, and please go ahead to share your profile, your links. It's a fantastic place to network. And as we round off, maybe I can give you a summary of how we see impact investment as an important portfolio for everybody to look at, or rather conscious capitalism. You saw many different versions and explanations around this. I'm just very quickly going to sum this up for you, so y'all can explore this as a guideline for how you are doing your business in the tourism industry. So you saw this. So basics to conscious capitalism really involves, if you remember, and you can rewind and watch this again later, we talked about how consciousness age has a very specific dynamics going on, causing transformation in the world. What you heard all our speakers speak today, we're really talking about the vision of the business and the nature of the business. How impactful is it to the world? And most importantly, the governance, the way we operate and deliver the business model, and the innovation and effectiveness into the community, and the impact that we can make in the environment. Most importantly, the benefits to the stakeholders. And I want to ask you, who are your stakeholders, and who are these people that you are impacting right now through your work? And that's exactly the basics to conscious capitalism, because the stakeholders usually have a very different dynamics, especially when it comes to the investors ecosystem, because in the conscious capitalism, there's this investor who is there and how he is adding value to the space. This is actually for you to assess and to see if your investment is, your business is investable and bankable. It's a business model, business model that you can actually go into this website and download the whole write-up around it. I'm not going to speak into it too much, but I want you to ask yourself, do you have, and this goes down up, okay? Do you have a master, mentor, some leader in your space of industry that you are building that you can emulate and learn from? Somebody's walking in front of you and that you can learn from, especially when it comes to new way of running the business. Today, we have actually established that business is no longer as business as usual. There needs to be new innovation. There needs to be new impact creation, and a whole different way of thinking. So do you have people around you, a network that you can work together on? And then comes your niche. I think we've spoken a lot about your niche. Is your business having a niche? And that means if you don't know your niche, or rather, if you think you have competition, means you have not identified your niche. So assess yourself. Are you fearful of competition? Then go find your niche, your unique selling proposition. And we also want you to assess yourself in the level you leverage. Leverage is doing more with less effort. And you can leverage on so many different ways. Technology is a powerful leverage. Communities like these are powerful leverage. You can get all the resources you need at one place. So if you don't know leverage, you're working too hard. So ask yourself, how much are you leveraging your business? Assess yourself, because any investor will want to know what's so unique and can the business run without you, right? It's so important to understand that. And finally, most investors, if not, sorry, all investors will want to know, do you have a team? All right, a team, or rather, I write here alignment of team, an aligned team to be in place in your business. If you don't have a team, and if you feel that you are the one running everything, your business is not really investable and bankable, and you would want to look at creating that powerful team that will create synergy in your business. Sorry, there's a typo error here. Synergy that will create results in your life, that is not just in terms of money, but also a lot of heartful impacts. So ask yourself, do you have mentors? Do you have a niche? Do you leverage your business? Do you have an aligned team? Do you have synergy, a synchronized energy that can create your results? So if any of these are missing, you do not create a momentum in your business, then your investability and bankability is in question. So you want to get ready for your investment to take place. I hope this will give you some insights on the way that you run your business, because it forms the foundation to how you can raise funds effectively, be it from the banks or from the market as well. So that being said, conscious capitalism has these two words. Can anybody fill in this word for us? A win-win-win, a system where everyone it says like fill in the blanks. Benefits, right? Where everyone benefits and
thrives.
Say that again.
Thrives.
Absolutely. I would love to give you a present. Exactly. This is what it is. And when we relate to these words, we really know how this can create a powerful synergy for everyone. So a system where everyone benefits and everyone thrives is no longer a win-win world. It's how deep we can get into everybody winning at every level in our business and in our life. So that being said, actually, we have a lot of stories behind this. I can send you some of the links. Maybe we can put it up to show you the power of conscious capitalism at work. You may want to Google the Tata story and the Temasek. In case you don't know who is Temasek, it is a Singapore Ministry of Finance owned company. So it's a state-owned company. Go study their business model. It will be mind-blowing for you on how a slum, just like the story of Maldives, but here it's a little bit deeper, a slum that has taken on a huge financial status in the whole of Asia. And this story will show you how effective this conscious capitalism can impact not just a country, but the whole region. And Tata's group is an internal story of India, but they have made global impact as well. Go study them, how they are literally a world of their own. Even when you go for listing, you need to be very clear. You know, when we talk about IPO, it's not just about you IPO. What happens after IPO? Do you have a community that can serve with you? So Tata is a fantastic model for you to look at how conscious capitalism can powerfully impact at every level. And that being said, go global ourselves. We are nurturing a global community of conscious leaders in the business and wellness tourism. Our target market is businesses in the travel, tourism, hospitality industry. And we have a vision of 100,000 SMEs coming together and at least 100 companies to be invested with us. So if you have a company that is looking at raising funds, connect with us. We'd love to add value to you. This is one of our projects that is looking out to impact through Kanyakumari, where we are looking at the Cape Town of India. Google them. Google that place. It's completely untapped, where huge impact can be created. The next time, Dato, I will be putting up Sabah with Dr. Jess. You know, we will be promoting Sabah as well, where, you know, the impact can be very massive. So I want to leave you with this question to ponder. What problem are you solving? And for who? What problem are you solving and for who? Which community are you impacting? What is the impact? What is the impact of the solution that you have? And is the solution scalable and investable? Because a lot of these social impacts are so limited and so constrained, and you are not doing justice to the economy or to the solution, the problem you are solving, if you are not scalable and you're not getting into the investability so that you can create more impact. And most importantly, do you have a timeline? How long will it take? Look at the timeline that you're supposed to work on so that you can create a powerful legacy for yourself. Okay. With that, I want to leave you with a question, and then we can network or, hang out together. This is a message that I want you all to take a screenshot of. This is the work of Buckminster Fuller. If you have not heard of him, go Google him. He is known as the grandfather of the universe by John Denver, the late singer. He says to ask every time you do a business or every time you're living, doing a business in the world, ask yourself, how do you make the world work for 100% of the time? For the 100% of humanity, without any ecological damage or disadvantage to anyone, through spontaneous cooperation in the shortest time possible. The magic keyword here is spontaneous cooperation, which is what every human being are meant to be doing with each other, to collaborate and co-create so that we can make this world a better place. And we are so delighted that we have the platform, the community, and I want to thank once again our Institute of Tourism for making this happen for all of us to come together and speak into this meaningful conversation about making the world work 100% of the time. You can actually take a screenshot of this and scan for your free checklist. We love this. Is not USD 99. You can redeem it for free and get it for us to connect with you as well. So that kind of completes my sharing. I hope it adds value to everyone. You can actually leave some questions. Back to you, Mr. Reza, for your closing address and more networking.
Okay, thank you so much for the wonderful webinar that you did. You're really amazing, Chairwoman. So I just wanted, we are really over time actually somehow. So I'm very happy to see many old faces here and many good friends from around the world. And I just want to say that so in few hours, the recording will be available, the biography, and then you can contact them, all their website and contacts, anything will be there. So it will be easy to find them. That's all. So I don't know if there are some other questions. Somebody want to add something, any questions? So please go ahead. Nobody? Nothing? Okay. So I think, yeah, it was really interesting. Thank you so much. And God bless you. And let's hope that there is a peace in the world and all the conflicts are gone by next time we do a webinar. So
yes.
Thank you so much.
So thank you for that reminder, Mr. Reza. If you don't mind, I can do a very quick, it's a couple of minutes, a piece, words in Tamil, so that everybody can, just close your eyes and become present to it. And we can just, there's no religious connotation to this. It's just Tamil words saying bless the world. That's it, right? Okay, everybody taking a deep breath in and becoming present to today and all the beautiful people, and gratitude to everyone that showed up today. அங்கு இங்கு எனாதபடி நீக்கமர நிறைந்திருக்கின்ற எல்லாம் வல்ல பரிபூரணத்தில் உள்ள அருட்பெரும் ஜோதியின் அன்பலைகள், the ultimate supreme light, அருட்பெரும் ஜோதியின் அன்பலைகள் நம் உலகம் முழுவதும் பரவி, நம் உள்ளம் முழுவதும் பரவி, நம் உலகம் முழுவதும் பரவி சாந்தியும் சமாதானமும் சந்தோஷமும் அடைய எல்லா உயிர்களும் இன்புற்று வாழ பரிபூர நல்லாசைகள். The ultimate supreme light shine its love, waves of love on all of us to live in love, peace, joy, and prosperity. Adiye Varga. Varga means bless, long live. Varga means long live. So I'm going to use long live, Varga. Adiye Varga, Ninaive Varga, Nadame Varga, Vinne Varga, Nire Varga, Nilane Varga, Katre Varga, Neruppe Varga, Nirvarvanave Varga, Tavarame Varga, ஊர்வனவே வாழ்க, பரப்பனவே வாழ்க, நடப்பனவே வாழ்க, மானிடமே வாழ்க, தொடுவறிவே வாழ்க, சுவையறிவே வாழ்க, வாசனை அறிவே வாழ்க, சப்த அறிவே வாழ்க, பார்வை அறிவே வாழ்க, பகுத்தறிவே வாழ்க, அன்பே வாழ்க, அறிவே வாழ்க, ஆற்றலே வாழ்க, ஆனந்தமே வாழ்க, அழகே வாழ்க, அமைதியே வாழ்க, தெய்வீகமே வாழ்க, love வாழ்க, long live, peace long live, divinity long live, wisdom long live all the families, the prosperity for all the people in this room, in this universe, everyone sharing with love, peace, and joy. Varga, Varga, Varga. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
God bless
Look
you and
forward
be
to
peace
connect.
with you. Thank you.
Be peace with everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.